Hello, guys. Welcome back to the BlockHash podcast, episode 264. Today, we have on Hamdee Khader, co-founder of DeVo protocol. Hamdee, how you doing, man?
Hey Brandon, what's going on, man? All good. What about you?
Doing well, doing well. I know you're traveling today. How's the travel life going?
Let me tell you something, man. I just hate American Airlines all of a sudden. Is it just like I've never had a good time with American Airlines. Every time I go on, either I miss the flight or it just delayed or I don't get on the plane. There's something going on with American Airlines. We have a beef, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I have a thing with American Airlines too. They just piss me off sometimes. Like, I'm sorry, but if they got somebody like scoping podcasts to look for people that are giving them a hard time, like I hope they hear this, but customer service is trash
Oh, it is
sometimes.
trash. It is trash. I got stories for days.
Yeah, and they got like such a high ego with things. I don't know what it is, but whatever. We'll talk about that on a future episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, MD, tell me a bit more about yourself and your background. How did you get into the space? What did you do before? And then how did you kind of get to where you are now with DeVo?
Yeah, no. First and foremost, thanks for having me on the podcast, man. I watched a couple of your previous podcasts. I really like what you do. So that's first and foremost. And about me, so I'm a JD MBA from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Prior to are you still there?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
I
still
saw.
here.
Okay,
We
cool,
just
cool.
changed
Oh, yeah,
the
that
view.
was so. Well, I'm a JD MBA from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Prior to blockchain, I worked in multiple different Fortune 500 companies, from MetLife to NextEra Energy to Citrix, both in the business and legal capacity. Uh, I always spent a lot of time though trying to uplift my community, and a lot of that was through starting my own projects. Now, when doing that, I saw that there were many problems. Right, people didn't know where they were donating their money to. Right, and they were sick and tired of that. Volunteers weren't being rewarded for their time. People like me who were starting their own projects, we didn't know where to start. Right, I mean, how do I get funding? How do I get volunteers? How do I coordinate all this? And when I dug deeper into the problem, I saw that it was because of all this was as a result of a lack of financial incentives. And so, I saw how blockchain was really revolutionizing many different industries, saw how philanthropy remained, largely untapped, and decided that, hey, I knew a couple of great people in the space, teamed up with them, and we created DeVo.
Got it. Um, Nice, man. Was there like a single moment or a period of time where you just kind of realized, had an epiphany that this is like the industry you want to be a part of? I know a lot of
Yeah.
people do because it's such a new one. Was there like a moment or a single thing that kind of sparked that for you?
Yeah. So, our technical architect is Adam. So Adam was the previous lead director of Zap, the Bitcoin Center.
Hmm.
He worked on Consensus. He worked on, on a bunch of other projects. And I'm a very close friend with him. So even prior to blockchain, he would just not stop. He would not shut up about it. And so I kept learning more. But what really pushed me towards the edge of wanting to jump into this industry, because as a JD MBA, there's not a lot of JD MBAs out there that are in the blockchain space, right? They probably think blockchain is Bitcoin. Like that's all they think, right? If they even know what Bitcoin is. So what made me want to jump is when I took a deeper dive and I saw how it was not only revolutionizing different industries, but it was really promoting decentralization. And someone with my background, who I've really seen the negative consequences of centralization, seeing how blockchain was, flipping that all on its head, that's when I knew that this was something that I really wanted to get into, something that gives power back to the people, something that at the same time also revolutionizes that space in and of itself. And then when I saw philanthropy was basically untapped, and it had all these problems, I decided, why don't I just connect the both of those together?
Got it. That's a cool way to kind of come together with everything and find your way to where you're doing now with DeVo protocol. Tell me more about it. I'm curious, like, what is it that you guys are trying to do? Is it like a typical like DeFi type protocol, or do you guys focus on anything in particular?
Yeah. So, from a very broad outset, what we do is that we tokenize the philanthropy space, right? And the philanthropy space is worth $2.3 trillion. So when we tokenize it, the token holders, not only do they get a reward, a substantial reward because it's basically untokenized, but also simultaneously you really solve a lot of problems, such as you provide unprecedented transparency. You start being able to reward participants like volunteers, and then you allow everybody in this ecosystem to coordinate and intercommunicate with one another in a trustless fashion where everybody is verified and everybody can intercommunicate knowing they're communicating with a verified party and having their actions recorded. And more than happy to dive. That's the 30 seconds feel. More than happy to dive into deeper into how that works.
Yeah. Let's dive deeper into it. So what type of philanthropic initiatives or charities or what, and more particularly, are you guys focused on tokenizing?
Well, we're looking at tokenizing the entire space. We didn't really feel like it was our place to really limit it to one philanthropic initiative. Like, who are we at the end of the day? This is a DAO, right? And I feel like that's the DAO's decision. Who are we to say one philanthropic initiative is more important than another philanthropic initiative? Okay. So the way that we have set it up is the fact that it's a DAO at the end of the day, and we take 4 parties in philanthropy, right? We've categorized them 4 people: volunteers, volunteer organizations, donors, and corporate entities. We verify every one of these parties, and then we bring them onto the platform on the protocol. After that, they're able through the decentralized application to intercommunicate with one another, right? And everyone has their own DIDs, and that shows they're verified. And when they intercommunicate with one another, their actions are recorded with ENFTs. So hypothetically, if a donor donates, that's recorded in ENFT. A corporation sponsors, that's an ENFT. A volunteer volunteers, that's also an ENFT, right? And also through this, you're also able to really show transparency. Volunteer projects now, instead of just getting a teddy bear in the mail, right, of saying, "Oh, thank you for donating," right? Hopefully, your money's being put to good use. Here's a stock picture. What we do is that these projects, when they sign up on the platform and they get their DID, they have to list their projects in milestones, right? So, like, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say a project wants $100,000. They split their project into 4 milestones, and each milestone is detailed. Now, the donor, they have to prove that they have reached every single milestone before a specific percentage of the funds that's donated to them actually is released. Now, who decides if they've accomplished that specific milestone? It's the DAO founders. It's not the DAO, it's the donors. So the donors are the ones that decide when these projects have reached the milestones. And now it's up to the nonprofit organization, it's up to that project to prove that, yes, we have accomplished X, Y, and Z. So, and we also include a lot of awesome DeFi mechanisms in it. So, we forked an Apple 4 smart contract. We're locking 33% of liquidity, 33% of DeVo tokens with 33% of the amount raised, which is around $20 million. And not only does that produce yield, and that yield keeps on increasing because that liquidity pool due to Ample 4 keeps on increasing in size, but also it creates kind of like a token floor price, because now you have DeVo tokens, right, with AMM that keeps on increasing and decreasing, tied in with a growing amount of, you could call it collateral that's staked against it, that's locked. So, we include a lot of awesome DeFi mechanisms with it. We're partnering with, this protocol called Elbow that really enhances even the DeFi mechanisms that people can do. Right now, you can, take delta neutral positions with DeVo. You can take contract insurance with DeVo. You have more options as it comes to leveraging, and that's the cool thing about it, right? Is providing all these benefits. Providing financial incentives to token holders, because a lot of the actions I just mentioned require the DeVo token as a utility, but also allowing them to really do a lot of cool DeFi, DeFi mechanisms, which also increases the utility.
Yeah. So is the yield primarily for the donors, or is it for like overall token holders in the DAO, or how does that aspect work?
So the yield, the DAO founders are the one who vote where it goes, right? Now the yield, what it's intended to do is in order to fund the project in perpetuity. You see a lot of these projects, right? A lot of these projects, unfortunately, they have a good run for 3, 4, 5 years, and then they run out of funding, or they hit a hard wall, and then the whole project disappears. We looked at this and we're like, how can we make sure that this survives in perpetuity? The liquidity pools, the rebasing liquidity pools was one of them. So this yield what it's targeted towards is to fund the entire ecosystem and to also allow the DAO to be able to initiate new, be able to basically obtain or initiate new initiatives.
Got it. Can anyone become a donor? Is this open to anyone, or is it closed off to a set group of people that are selected?
Oh no, well, the way we're still in our seed round, right? So in
Okay.
terms of like who exactly is going to be a donor, that's still yet to be determined. Now, one of the things that we're planning on doing is we're going to provide the DAO with guidance, right? Hey, based on best practices, based on the research, based on the steps we take in part of the raise, these are, a specific party should have A, B, and C characteristics, right? Um, the DAO founders are supposed to be the ones who actually put it into action or not, right? And ultimately, the DAO founders can do whatever they want as it pertains to that. Um, so yeah, we have not set a standard as of yet, but we're leaving it a lot to the DAO founders because you have to really find that fine line, right? How can you be a DAO but also conduct a lot of a lot of centralized decisions? So it's you always have to be very careful with that.
Got it. Who are the DAO founders? Is it like a small group?
Yeah, so right now we're still at the very beginning,
Okay.
but we're actually partnered up we're in major talks with, and let me preference this by saying we recently launched a volunteer campaign, right? So it's decentralized volunteering. So we launched a volunteer campaign, but prior to that, we were really building up the project. We got a lot of awesome special partners like, Solid World, which partnered with Flow Carbon recently, and Ethica, which is the first license exchange for projects aiming to achieve SDG goals. And then, we've got, a couple of great nonprofit organizations like Reform Alliance, which is actually a nonprofit. It's pretty cool. Co-founded by Jay-Z and Meek Mill and Robert Kraft, New York Patriots, huge names. And, then we launched a volunteer campaign. And I kid you not, in 10 days, we actually onboarded 22,000 volunteers. So after we got 20,000 and our socials jumped up to around like from 800 overall to around like 60,000 as it is right now. So, after that, we've been getting a lot of interest from, venture capital firms and also other DAO founders. But, in terms of the current DAO founders, yes, it's a small group. But, based on, the people we've been speaking to, based on the interest that we've been seeing, it's definitely, going to grow really, really big.
Got it. Can any organization benefit from this DAO, or do they have to be selected by the founders or donors, or how does that process work? Like, if I
Yeah.
have a company, or actually better, since it's charitable, if I had a charity and I wanted it to, receive, charitable donations through the DAO, through
Yeah.
DeVo, is there a process that I have to go through for that? Because it's very important that charities, receive money from the right places under U.S. law, and that can become very hairy sometimes.
Yeah.
We've heard millions of stories of, charities sometimes being used for the wrong purposes. Is there any issue also with that in the eyes of the law potentially, or is that, completely out of their scope because it's decentralized?
Well, you just mentioned it right now. We're aiming it to be decentralized, right? We're not
Hmm.
planning to say like just if you can only join as a volunteer organization if you're a 501c3. What we determine as a volunteer organization is basically anybody on the ground that wants to start a goodwill project, because we really want to empower them, right? Now, one of the problems I faced when I was trying to volunteer is the fact that I did not have the resources in order to conduct or actually achieve my goals. I did not have funding. I did not have access to volunteers. I did not have, corporations being able to sponsor me. I did not have visibility. Uh, and there's a lot of things I was lacking. But how about if you have a DAO that allows people to start their own goodwill projects, people who are actually on the ground, who know what's going on, right? Not these large nonprofit organizations, who are not all, but quite a few, um, you know, carry out their task very inefficiently, and a lot where you don't even know where the heck your money is going, right? So in terms of volunteer organization, we really focus on we try to make it as decentralized as possible, allow anyone to be a quote unquote volunteer organization. In terms of the onboarding process, so as mentioned previously, when somebody launches their project on the DAO, they have specific milestones, right? And the whole point of that is to provide people who are actually giving these resources the power and the knowledge and the transparency to make their own decisions, basically providing power back to the people, right? So, I'm gonna throw a hypothetical situation. if there's a project, right, and they have 4 milestones, you know, there could be some donors out there who would be content with, you know, this project not providing a lot of credit, a lot of proof that they've achieved these specific milestones. But there could be other donors who would actually want more and who would not allow the funds to be released until those things are actually achieved. So those are two things. Thirdly, what we're planning on doing is that we're planning on launching what's called DeVo verifiers on the ground, right? So in basically in every single geographic area that this is the overall goal, and we're thinking really big, and we already have a couple of these actually in play. In every single geographic area, we want volunteers on the ground or a point person on the ground to actually go to these projects and them verify that these projects are actually doing what they're doing. And that's actually a very interesting thing we're going to do right now. Is because we have such a large community, we're planning on launching a similar initiative. So yeah, there's multiple ways we're trying to verify.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work has been going into this. So you mentioned that you guys are in the middle of a seed round, right? You're raising funds for this.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a middle of a seed round. You know, you can join the seed round right now on our site actually. And yeah, you know, we are currently a seed round, but you know, I want to mention one thing though. A lot of projects, I don't know why, when they enter their seed round, it's like everything else stops. You know, it's like what we've been doing is that we've been building simultaneously, aggressively while we're in our seed round. So it's not like that we're in our raise stop. No, we are in our raise, but we're really building up the project, right? We're building up the decentralized application, right? Even before we finish the seed round, we have the first version like 75% coded. And we have volunteers on the ground. So it's not only have we signed up these volunteers, but we have volunteers on the ground who actually have a DeVo verifier, right? Who have verified the projects they are doing. And we know the hours they're doing, and they're being rewarded with DeVo tokens, right? Even before the DApp comes out. So yes, we're in our seed round, but I just wanted to make clear that we're also simultaneously really building out the project because, you know, we just didn't want to stall.
Got it. That's good. No, you want to keep working on the project. I don't like it when a company's trying to raise money and they halt everything, you know, just so they can try to raise. I mean, makes no sense to me. But no, that's good. So would you say that right now gaining that seed investor and getting that investment is the biggest need for DeVo protocol at the moment, or are there other things you guys are looking for to help improve the protocol?
I would say, you know, in terms of need, I mean, it's definitely great, right? Who doesn't want funding? You know, but yeah, you know, funding is one great thing. You know, another thing we're looking for is more volunteers. We have 22,000. We're trying to get 100,000, right? It's nothing we're trying to do. You know, we're looking for new team members, right? We have probably a team of around 22 people. We've onboarded the whole new marketing team. Shout out to Ian, by the way, who's our amazing social media manager. You know, onboarded like, you know, whole new marketing team. But with this huge community and with this effort, you know, we're also looking for more people, more qualified personnel, you know, just to add to our muscle. So if I find a bit hard when I say like what's the most thing that we're looking for, it's a lot of different things. Definitely funding is one of them, but you know, there's definitely other value adds that can come to DeVo as well.
Cool. So after the seed round, you know, what's next? What does your guys' timeline look like? So you guys are still developing. So you guys probably have a plan in place. What are you guys looking forward to the most?
Yeah. So what we're planning on doing is probably in around 6 months, you know, we will be on an IEO, right? You know, our seed round is, you know, after we finish these private rounds, we're then going to go on an IEO. We have actually contact with a couple of great exchanges. You know, it's the benefit of, you know, collaborating with people like Adam, who have, you know, all these predisposed connections that, you know, have just been amazing. And yeah, so after that, we're going to build for 3 months after the rounds close. And then, you know, so that's 3 months for the rounds and then 3 months for building. And then we go IEO and yeah, and then we're fully live.
Nice, man. So that's got to be exciting. When do you plan to hopefully be live? Soon?
So 6 months. Yeah, 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, six months. So it's 3 months rounds, right? Now if the rounds finish quicker, right, it'll be quicker, right? But we want it to be very conservative. Like we you know, so it's like basically we put like 3 months and then like, you know, 3 months also after that, because it's 2 rounds, right? It's a seed round and it's the pre-launch round, with the seed round being like 10 cents, the pre-launch round going for 20 cents, and then the IEO going for 30 cents. Right.
Got it. Have you found it difficult at all raising the money in those seed rounds given the state of the market, or do you feel that people are investing more in projects, taking advantage of the opportunity?
Well, no, I mean, definitely, I feel like everybody felt the hit, right? I mean,
Hmm.
there's no lying there. But I feel like what really, showed everybody in the team that we are a very special project is the fact that despite the fact that we're in the bear market, the amount of interest that we are getting from these large capital partners has been phenomenal, right? These capital partners who have just basically froze, are speaking with us. They want to speak to us. They want to have a second meeting and a third meeting, and so on and so forth. So it's definitely been, phenomenal, the interest that we've gotten. As you well know, so like for the seed round right now, it has like a minimum cap. So it's like the second round is more open towards, the small investors in order to grow that community pool. So, with those big deals, those take a lot of time or some time to come to fruition. But, just for the interest that we've gotten has been phenomenal. So long answer. Yes, we've seen it, but we've been dealing with it. Our our end of it has been much better than I feel like a lot of other people.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's been rough the last 9 months or so, I think, pretty
Yeah,
much in
dude,
this
it's not
industry.
been
So
fun.
it's good to know that you're making progress.
Yeah.
Where's your community based? Do you guys have something on Telegram or Discord, or where can people find it if they want to get involved in the community?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, we have a link tree, which I'm not sure if I provided you with that, but yeah, you can go on Twitter, Devo
Mhm.
Protocol, basically, it's right? DEVO Protocol. You can go there. You can also go on our website, www, or I don't know, I'm gonna put it right here,
Sure.
www.devoprotocol.org or .io, which goes to .org. From our website, you can see all our socials. You can see our link tree. Yeah, no, follow us on all our socials. Follow us what we're doing. We're doing amazing stuff, man. This is going to be a revolutionary project. We are redefining philanthropy and volunteerism, right? We are giving power back to the people. We are allowing these volunteers to take matters in their own hands. We are showing people where their donations are going. But we're also doing is the fact that we are proving that a reward, right, in terms of token rewards, can be accomplished with goodwill. They don't have to be separate. They can be accomplished once together. I'm more than happy to dive into the utility in greater detail if you'd like to explain how that works.
Yeah, if you want to, we got a couple minutes left.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, go dive into the detail a bit.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. All right, so basically for the utility, we've split it
Mhm.
into four parts. It's the governance, obviously. B,
Mhm.
it's the yield, which we described with with this yield that keeps on increasing, right? So the yield keeps on increasing in value because due to the AMP4 smart contract, the liquidity pool, right? Some of the yield keeps on being reinvested back. Thirdly, we have contract interaction fees, right? So for specific interactions that happen when, let's say, a donor donates or corporation signs up, or a volunteer organization onboards a volunteer, there has to be a contract interaction fee that has to be paid with DeVo tokens that goes back in the liquidity pool. So when you imagine millions and millions of interactions occurring, all that demand for the DeVo token becomes substantial. And if we're able to get 22,000 volunteers with all organic marketing, right, with just a couple of posts, can you imagine that once we fulfill all, once we in the future, when we have that huge war chest, how many volunteers and how many, users we're going to have and how many interactions are going to be happening on the protocol? It's going to be phenomenal. Uh, you know, and fourthly, we have the ecosystem transactions, which are services provided by the DAO. One of the core services is corporate sponsorships. So if a corporation wants to sponsor a specific project, or if they want to go sponsor themselves on the DApp itself, they have to acquire that with Devo token. So imagine like a Devo token price, right? To sponsor this project, you have to pay 10,000 Devo tokens, which also flows to the volunteers, right? And then, or to sponsor on the DApp, you have to pay the liquidity pool 10,000 Devo tokens. So those are the four core utilities.
Nice, man. No, it sounds like this is going to be a really fun project to see it launch. Um, blockchain is perfect for something like philanthropy and charity and giving back. Having a decentralized, open, and verifiable nature, solves so many issues and, you know, philanthropic efforts today. So I'm very excited to see what you guys do with it and, where you take it. I feel like it could branch off in a million directions. So it's going to be fun. What about you? Can people find you online as well?
Yeah, man. Oh, wow. The first time somebody asked me that. Well, appreciate. Yeah, man. No, you can go on Twitter. My name is Hamdee, my first name, and then
Hmm.
underscore. I believe it's Devo, DEVO. That's my Twitter. feel free to go follow me, guys, 100%. I have my profile picture is me like doing a speech, so give that some love too, give that some love, and yeah.
What speech was that?
I was actually invited in Dubai, to be to be a speaker at one of the events, and it was great. It was so awesome, honestly. It was the first time that I publicly described DeVo and its functionalities live in front of a huge group of people. So it was very, very fun, honestly. And Dubai is phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
Nice.
There's
No,
so much going on there.
Dubai sounds great. That's a place I need to go to at some point.
Oh,
It's on the
yeah.
long list.
100%. Yo, listen, make sure you got a pretty big purse when you go there too, my man. That place is expensive, bro.
Yeah. I'm from Vegas, and I went to college in California, and I understand expensive. So
Yeah,
I can only imagine what it's like in Dubai.
yeah, no, it's it's pretty expensive, man. But just to I know probably trying to wrap it up, but like if I can just say a couple more words, is the
Yeah, of
fact that
course.
this project is very special in the fact that not only are we accessing a market that has not been accessed efficiently and effectively, but also is that we're going to be solving a lot of problems, right? And I always give, when I talk about the monetization perspective, I always give this analogy, and it definitely makes sense. If in every single industry out there where there's a problem, right, that equals a market opportunity. Except in philanthropy, a problem is just a problem. So what we're doing is that we're providing that incentive to solve that problem. We're providing that financial incentive to solve that problem, right? Which solves it, but also provides, because it's untapped, great return or great incentive for the DAO founders, for people who hold the token, because the utility is needed. And it's going to be a revolutionary project. Go sign up, follow us on our socials. Become a DAO founder. We're getting a lot of interest, especially from huge couple of partners. So in one day it could be just like closed. And become a DAO founder. Sign up on our socials, follow us, ask us questions, join our Discord, ask us any questions if you have any more. We love our community. We love answering. We love even getting insight, right? Any feedback. We love that. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the passion too. It's good to see that there's a lot of dry characters out there, even in this space sometimes. So it's good to know that you're passionate about something like this in general, not just because it's blockchain or DeFi, but because you seem to enjoy it.
100%, man. When I come on a podcast, not having a haircut in a week and a half, man, I definitely enjoy it.
You're fine. You look good. Not bad. Cool. Guys, go follow Hamdee. Go check out DeVo Protocol. We'll put everything in the description for the episode, so you'll be able to find it. Make sure to like the video and subscribe as well on whichever platform you're watching this or listening on. And Hamdee, let's do this again soon. Let me know when the protocol is about to go live, and let's do an episode beforehand.
Let's do it, Brandon. Looking forward to it, man.
Absolutely. All right, man. Have a good day. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
All right, my man. You take care. Bye-bye.